Did you know only 20% of people who lose a lot of weight actually keep it off longer than a year? That means 8 out of 10 people who work their butts off end up right back where they started, or worse. After losing 50 pounds and keeping it off for 3 years, plus working with hundreds of women just like me, I figured out that everything we've been told about losing and keeping weight off is backwards. Even though most plans focus on what you're eating or how much you're exercising, not enough focus on what actually makes the biggest difference. And that's what's happening right here. So in this video, I'm breaking down the 5 mindset shifts you need to make in order to get into the successful 20% of dieters who keep it off, instead of the 80% who are still waiting for Monday to magically fix their lives. But before we talk about the first big mental swap you need to make, let me tell you about Sarah. She is one of my coaching clients who is stuck in a cycle of self-sabotage that far too many of us find ourselves in. Sarah came to me after regaining 30 of the 40 pounds she lost. She was frustrated, defeated, and convinced that she just didn't have enough discipline. When I asked her to walk me through a typical week, it wasn't really too much different from my life back when I was struggling, and it might even sound like what's happening with you. She said, "I do great Monday through Thursday. I eat perfectly, hit all of my workouts, and track everything like you are standing over my shoulder with a magnifying glass. But then Friday hits, I have 1 slice of pizza at happy hour and think, well, now that I've completely blown it, I might as well eat more. So I eat 3 more slices, skip my Saturday workout entirely, and by Sunday, I'm ordering takeout thinking that I'll just start again on Monday." Raise your hand if this is literally your life right now. Sarah was treating her diet like a giant stack of dominoes. One mistake and the whole thing comes crashing down. But here's what most people never realize because they're too busy having a complete meltdown every time they have a cookie. The most successful dieters aren't the ones who never mess up. They're the ones who master the first crucial habit, thinking in shades of gray, not black and white. And before you come for me saying that gray is boring, let me tell you what's not boring. The drama that comes with the realization that you just regained the 30 pounds you worked so hard to lose. Here's the thing, your brain loves categories. Good day, bad day, on plan, off plan, success, failure. But weight loss doesn't work that way, and neither does real life. Here's what successful people understand. 1 bad meal doesn't ruin 3 good days. They've trained their brain to see progress on a spectrum instead of an all or nothing game. When Sarah began reframing that pizza slice as, I made 1 choice that put me off track, but I can still make the next right decision, instead of treating it like she's slipped up once, so now she better shove everything in as fast as she can before recommitting to her diet, that's when everything changed. Now she's working off those 30 pounds, but this time she's more likely to keep it off since she finally quit her all or nothing mentality. But even if you master this first mindset shift, there's another pattern that trips up even the most dedicated dieters. And it involves a relationship that is far more toxic than anything you've seen on The Real Housewives. And I'm even including Atlanta into that mix. Let me ask you something. How many times have you stepped on the scale, seen a number that you didn't like, and immediately felt like your entire day was ruined? Raise your hand if you've ever let the scale destroy your entire day before 7 a.m. I see you, mostly because I've been you. I used to be in the same toxic relationship with my scale, especially when I was weighing myself once a week. Because if I was up 2 pounds, then I was clearly doing something wrong, so I scrapped my entire plan. Down 1 pound? It was time to celebrate with a donut because apparently I have the self-control of a 3-year-old who missed nap time. This routine is exhausting, and it keeps you trapped in a cycle of emotional eating that's based on daily changes that don't really even matter. It's like pretending a magic 8-ball has anything to do with predicting the future. But here's what I learned, and this goes against 90% of what you hear in the fitness space. Even though your scale weight means very little, you still need to weigh yourself every day, or at least 3 to 4 days each week. Because just trusting the process leaves most women stuck, even though they feel like they are putting in all of the effort. but collecting the actual data that matters for your body, and then using the trends to interpret if your plan is working or if it's time to switch things up. That's how you keep things moving forward. But you'll still find plenty of influencers telling you to focus on how you feel, not the scale. They're all missing the point. Because successful dieters know where they're at and learn through their own data what they need to do to achieve their goals. But weighing yourself daily comes with responsibility. Because once you use this powerful tool in your plan, you need to make a huge mindset shift to only focus on the weekly trends, not the daily numbers. Use those trends to figure out if what you're doing is actually working. Like, if your weekly trend shows that your scale went down 1/2 pound this week, that is great news because you're moving in the right direction. I get that it's not the 5 pounds you lost your first week of keto, but if that actually worked, would you be here watching this video? Start focusing on trends to see if your weight is generally going up or down, and then adjust what you're doing once you have a solid 3 or 4 weeks worth of data. But if things aren't going as planned, that doesn't mean that you should just drop your calories another 500 a day because you only lost 2 pounds in 4 weeks. But it could mean that you drop another 100 or 200 calories to speed things up. Or you get more steps in, since more movement helps too. I teach coaching clients to track their weekly average and only make decisions based on what their trend is doing over 2 to 3 weeks. This one shift eliminates so much drama and keeps you focused on what actually matters, consistent habits. But even with the right mindset about progress, there's another mental trap that catches almost everyone. And if enough dieters figure this out, it is big enough to destroy a multi-billion-dollar industry. Here's what you're probably thinking right now. How do I stay motivated when I don't feel like working out or eating another salad? Every time someone asks this, I know they still believe one of the biggest lies floating around social media. The real truth is, every motivational coach selling a mindset transformation is selling snake oil. Because what they're selling you is motivation. Motivation doesn't pay the bills. At least when it comes to a fat loss plan that works. If you're waiting to feel ready or to find your why before taking action, you could be waiting forever. Because even though your favorite fitness influencer wakes up excited about another 2-hour workout, followed by a few bites of chicken and veggies, that's just not how normal people function. Yes, I love working out, and I get that is not the norm. But I also enjoy a move more, eat more strategy to achieve my fat loss goals. If you don't love that, then you can just move less and eat less and still end up at the same place. Here's something big I had to learn, and something you need to learn too. Not every morning is a morning that you wake up and you are excited to walk, because some days your feet might still hurt from the day before. More often than not, you won't want to eat another protein-heavy lunch, because sometimes pancakes just hit the spot in the middle of the day. And there will be plenty of days that you'll rather down an entire sleeve of cookies than grab another 3 ounces of meat for your snack. But you'll still have to eat the high protein snack anyway, at least if you want results. Not because you always feel motivated, but because you have to develop this third mindset shift, which is successful dieters act regardless of how they feel. Before you start typing angry comments about toxic positivity, let me be clear. I'm not saying to completely ignore your feelings, but I am telling you that you have to quit letting them drive the bus. Because once you start restricting calories in order to lose fat, I promise you, your feelings will change faster than Chicago's weather pattern on a warm and sunny day. Successful people don't always feel like doing the right thing, but they've learned that if they want results, they have to do the damn thing whether they feel like it or not. Which leads us to the fourth mindset shift that changes everything. Here's what will make every fake it until you make it guru angry. Most people approach weight loss from the outside in, which is why 95% of diets fail. The entire fitness industry is built on selling you external solutions to internal problems. Most diet plans focus strictly on what you eat, how you exercise, and what you have to track. And yes, all of that is important for an effective plan. But if you don't make this fourth mindset shift, then you'll always be looking for what's new and hot when it comes to quick weight loss. But if you want to fall into the category of successful dieters who keep the weight off, then you have to change your entire identity, not just your actions. Here's a few examples of what this means. Instead of saying things like, I'm on a diet or I'm trying to lose weight, successful dieters say, I'm someone who takes care of my health. Instead of thinking, I should work out more, in the middle of your latest Netflix binge, successful dieters think, I'm someone who prioritizes movement. In fact, I can hop on my walking pad right now while I watch this show. Instead of thinking, wow, I need to eat better after giving into their latest fast food craving, they believe, I'm someone who fuels my body well. Even though fast food sometimes happens, I make the best choices with the circumstances I'm given. Here's what you can do to make this shift easier. Pick one of these identity statements and say it out loud 3 times today. Yes, I know it feels weird, but do it anyway. Even though this might sound like I'm asking you to think your way into your skinny jeans, this mindset shift is actually the difference between temporary behavior change and permanent transformation. When I struggled with yo-yo dieting for 30 years, I always saw myself as someone who was trying to be healthy or attempting to lose weight. I was always chasing something that I wasn't, someone who was always in pursuit mode. But once I shifted to seeing myself as someone who is healthy, who does take care of her body, who values her well-being, that's when everything finally clicked. But that doesn't mean that you should change everything about your life overnight. The fastest way to shift your identity is by starting with tiny actions to prove to yourself who you're becoming. Drink your water goal for 3 days in a row. Take a 10-minute walk every morning for a week. Hit your protein target for 5 days straight. Every time you do what you say you'll do, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. But even after you start trusting that you're someone who follows through, there's still one final mindset shift that ties all of this together, and it's the most important one of all. This is the one that will finally expose why every 12-week transformation program is designed to fail. I want you to answer this question honestly and really think about it, because your answer will tell you if your plan is setting you up to succeed or fail. How long are you planning to do this? If you're following any diet with an end date, then you've already lost, because successful dieters think in years, not weeks. And every influencer selling you some quick transformation is literally betting that you'll fail. Their dirty secret is they need you to fail so you come back to their next challenge or their next 90-day transformation. All these quick fix plans do is sell you temporary transformations that guarantee that you'll need round 2 once you regain the weight. Once I finally shifted to asking, what can I do consistently for the next 5 years? Instead of what will work for the next 12 weeks, that's when everything finally changed. And making this shift is vital since long-term thinking affects every decision you make. It's the difference between choosing a 1,200 calorie crash diet that makes you miserable and choosing eating in a slight deficit that is easy to stick with. It's the difference between committing to 2-hour gym sessions and finding 30 minutes of movement you actually enjoy. The people who keep weight off aren't the ones who are the most extreme while losing weight. They're the ones who build habits that they can maintain forever. But none of these habits need to be big, dramatic, or life-altering, because it really is the small habits that you do on repeat that adds up to big results. Drop a comment and tell me which of these mindset shifts hit you the hardest. And then watch this video next, because I put together the 17 tiny habits that I built over time that helped me build a fat loss plan that couldn't fail. These habits can help you build a fat loss routine that finally works for you too.